So when you first started fishing, you started fishing in Dirty Dozen Camp, right?
Actually, I first started it was at Walter's camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh. Yeah,
yeah,
when I first started here, you were over there.
yeah. I went from Walter's camp to Lebo's at Mitch's, then to Dirty Dozen, then to our own.
Okay.
But at Dirty Dozen, they use poles exclusively.
Yeah.
So in the other camps, Mitch uses both, whichever is more convenient.
At the time,
And
depending on the
Walter's
ice,
camp,
I guess, eh?
yeah, on the ice or when there's lots of sticks, you use the frame,
Yeah.
so you don't have to deal with the surface flow as much,
Yeah.
because the ice and the logs can ride up on your anchor and break your deck, and then you have to find them, peel new poles, hammer them in again. This takes time and effort.
Yeah.
So the frame makes it a little easier
Yeah.
most of the time when everything works like it's supposed to. So some crews use both. We have done both, but when given the choice, the frame is just easier.
Hmm. Like the has the frame of that net. I've seen them all use the metal. Was it metal back then?
Yep. When I first started back in in the 80s, my dad used to drop me off at spring break at Walter's camp and then pick me up after spring break. They used the frame back then too, and it was iron.
Iron. Huh.
It was heavy. It
Yeah.
would take 4 men to move around, and it was nice if you had 6 to be able to lift it out of the water when there's pressure on it.
Yeah.
But over time, the newer ones have switched to aluminum and different diameters of aluminum piping, trying to something that's strong enough but not too heavy.
How did you guys figure that frame out? Like just trial and error when you go out?
Well, I imagine somebody copied that iron one. I copied someone else's and then added. I took some ideas from the iron one and some ideas from Levo's and combined them.
Yeah, I noticed they're different.
They're a little different. And
Yeah.
I put a Teflon plate on the bottom so that when you're moving around the boat, it's not screeching, so it doesn't hurt our ears. And so also when you're pulling it in the boat, the Teflon sticks out 1/4 of an inch, so it doesn't scratch up the side of your boat either.
Yeah.
So it's a little easier on the boats.
Yeah. Huh. How old were you when you first started coming to Fisher Bay?
Probably 9.
Wow.
Yeah, 9. My dad would come down and I'd stay with my Aunt Alvin, Aunt Eddie
Yeah.
at Walter's camp. We were the gophers. Go for this, go for that.
The gophers.
Yeah. Shovel. We'd be in the boat shoveling when we were on the beach.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We'd spend our spring break here. At the end of spring break, my dad would come pick us back up again, and with a boat full of olefins was our payment. So everybody was happy.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I I know there's generators now in most of the camps. Back then when you first started, what was being used?
Oil lamps.
Oil lamps.
Yeah, oil lamps to light the house. Candles.
So no flashlights and headlamps
No fancy headlamps. There's flashlights. Batteries are expensive, so it's
back
oil
then.
lamps. Everybody had kerosene and oil lamps.
Yeah. And the fridges, when I came, they were outside on the wall, hey?
Yep, outside. Coolers outside. Anything that needed to be kept cool was just in the cooler outside.
Yeah.
Or if it was in the house, it would be in a part that was built so it would be cooler.
Yeah. And the boats that they're using today, were those the same style of boats that you had got to use when you first started here, or were they different?
Well, when I first started, they had that kind, those aluminum boats. If you had a punt, you were lucky
Yeah.
because they were still using wooden boats then too,
Yeah.
built the same as some of the smaller punt-like boats. Not like a punt, but sort of.
Yeah.
Little scows they have that are made out of aluminum now. They used to make those out of wood. I
Yeah.
imagine the aluminum ones are modeled after the wooden ones.
Yeah.
They're low in the water, so the wind doesn't blow you around. It's easy to pull the sacks of olefins into the boat. You don't have to lift it very far.
Yeah.
And they're very flat bottom, so they're nice on the river, very stable.
Yeah.
They used to make those. Now they make them out of aluminum.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a wooden boat for a long time.
Yeah. I seen a couple of them when I first got down here. I don't know boats they were, and then I saw photos of it, so I was wondering if,
Yeah, they used to make them in the winter,
huh,
22 feet long.
yeah.
I remember as a kid fishing off the back of them down the bay,
Oh
sitting on the
yeah,
back of the boat.
the white and blue. Was it
Yeah,
the white and blue
those
one? I remember
those wooden
that.
boats, they're always down the bay.
Yeah. Huh.
And getting in trouble because we'd lose fish inside and couldn't catch them, so the trout would be swimming around in the boat.
Yeah.
So it's always part of the fun trying to catch them a second time.
Wow. Huh. And then are the cabins like are they much different compared to when you first came down?
They're a little bigger.
Bigger, more room?
Yeah, our
Because you
little
guys
house
just
is
have
how
the
they were all tiny like that before bunk beds. Now some of the houses are bigger than the houses at home.
yeah.
And the one I'm going to build is going to be a two-story, couple bedrooms with a bunch of bunks, so there's room for all the kids. So
Yeah.
when our kids want to come, they have a space of their own.
Yeah. Awesome. And then the part of your while you were here when you first started, what was your like main job that they made you do?
When I first started, when I was a kid, I was shoveling olikins and chopping wood. That was our job.
Did you get to do the poles, like the
Well,
hooks?
peeling, no, I didn't get to peel because it can be dangerous if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And it takes some real muscle, and as a kid, you just don't have that.
Yeah.
As a teenager, peel poles for the deck, and then pack olikins out in the packing boxes. Now lots of crews use buckets.
Yeah.
Back and forth carrying buckets. And we always had the packing boxes. Now sometimes guys use a skidoo or a four-wheeler and haul it right to the bin.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah. I know when I first started here, the only camp that had all the original stuff was Craig's camp. He had no quad or
Golden grease.
yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. And I think there was still a couple of the old boxes there.
Yep. Yeah, now we make them out of aluminum, so the box itself is light. You're not carrying the heavy plywood or boards back and forth.
Yeah. I tried to lift those once, I couldn't even. Me and my sister.
All by themselves and they're empty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we were trying and couldn't even lift it.
Yeah, the
Just-
aluminum ones are light. And you drill holes so the blood and slime and water can drain out.
Yeah. Huh. So Jerry was saying when I was interviewing him, his preference on the color of what he prefers. What would you say your preference is? Like, are you gonna go after? Do you want the females or do you want the mix? How is it that the grease is white or golden?
The longer you age the olikins, the darker your grease gets. So if you start cooking at around 10 days, you get really light white grease.
Yeah.
And that's most of the time, regardless of the kind of, if it's males or females or first or second run.
Oh, so it doesn't matter.
Not so much. It's how long you've aged them.
Yeah.
The males in second run, you don't get as much grease out of a cook because they've used it all staying in the river.
Yeah. Huh.
But the longer you let your olikins age, the darker your grease.
Yeah.
And there's other factors. If you make sure you use enough water so it mixes really well and washes it really well. It separates and helps separate the grease from the fish.
Yeah.
You get light grease too.
Yeah. And the average boxes of the Ulukan would be, what would you say, 10 to 12 boxes in one cook?
The average cook depends, something between 10 and 14.
Depends on the box size, I guess.
Yeah, our box will hold 5 gallon buckets.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use a packing box, 2 guys using a packing box is actually faster than 2 guys carrying buckets. If you've got a nice path that you can walk on,
Mm-hmm.
it's 1 extra bucket per trip because it carries 5 instead of each guy carrying 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about 25 gallons in a packing box.
Yeah.
And when we're cooking light, we cook with 10 of those. If we're cooking heavy, with lots of olikins, we cook 14.
Wow.
So 12 is a good average.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the season, you like to use a little bit less olikins and more water, so you get a more of a boil mixture going on. So keeps the grease lighter.
Yeah.
But as far as eating it, I like the light grease on my toast and with my kayaks and on my herring eggs.
Did you grow up with the grease?
Yep, yep. My mom liked grease, and my yet used to have a camp. So
Oh.
she grew up around grease, so we grew up around grease.
Yeah.
And then if I'm making soup or something, then I like the darker grease because you don't have to use as much to get the same flavor because it's stronger.
Okay. So it's just preference, I guess.
Yeah, it's preference.
And how much?
To each his own
Yeah.
or her own. Everybody's a little different.
Yeah. So I've been working here 10, 12 years. And in those years, I think twice I've been out on the ice with the crew, like everybody here in Fisher Bay.
Yep.
When you first started coming down here, what was the fishing like? Was it mostly ice fishing or was it a mix?
In my lifetime, before I started our own camp, I had been on the ice probably twice, and then 3 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So there's been more ice. I think even before that, there was more fishing on the ice, and then there was a 30-year space where there wasn't as much ice. Maybe twice in 30 years we fished through the ice.
Yeah.
And there's been 3 times in the last 15
Yeah.
where we fished through the ice.
Yeah, because my last photos of being on the ice with Fisher Bay crew is 2017.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that was the ice was really thick, 3 feet thick.
Yeah.
And then I put skates on and my kids skated down with the aid of the wind, but then we had to skate back up this side, which was harder because the wind was blowing down.
Wow.
But that ice was 3 feet thick.
Yeah. I noticed that you guys are doing the anchor frame fishing. Is that what you call it?
Say it again?
You're just using the anchor and you're just using the
anchors and
frame.
Yeah.
Do you prefer that or do you prefer the pole fishing?
When there's not so much ice, I prefer the pole fishing because once you hit your spot, you're set, and it's really quick to put your net in.
Just drop it and go.
Yep. It's easy to attach and slide it down, and you're set. But when there's lots of junk going back and forth with the tides, the frame is better.
Oh, okay. So
right now, poles would be good because the ice is almost all gone.
All gone now.
The tides are getting smaller, so there's less junk on the river.
Yeah.
But last week, the frame was better because of so much ice and so many logs going back and forth because it's bigger tides.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. So when you were down here in camp, I know you said your dad left you there with
uncles, grandparents.
And they all showed you the ropes.
Yep.
How to be the gopher.
Yep. Chop wood.
Yeah. Pack the ulican.
Packing ulicans, chopping wood. Yeah.
Wow. Did you do any sea lion hunting when you were here back then too?
Yep, we hunt sea lion. When we're all done, that was the reward, was to go hunt sea lion and ducks.
Oh.
That was always fun.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out, I don't know if there's like a preference when people want to be out for sea lion. Is there like a preference
at
to
the
it?
End.
At the end?
At the end, because you're finished your hard work, you're taking turns cooking, and some guys are cooking and some guys are hunting sea lion. And when they've been in the river long enough, they've eaten olicans that help clean them out.
Oh, that's why.
So it cleans out their system when they've been eating olicans for a while.
Yeah.
If you get them too early, they don't taste good. But after they've been in the river for 3 weeks, a month, eating olicans, then they taste good.
Huh. Do you notice anything different with the season so far? Because I noticed in my books last year we were fishing at the end of February. And we just started fishing like last week, right?
Yeah. Well, this year there was ice on the river, but it was too iffy to walk on fish through, so we couldn't fish. I'm pretty sure the olicans are going up under the ice.
Yeah.
I think they come pretty regularly. It's just if we can fish them safely or not.
Yeah.
So we had to wait for the ice to break up this year before we could get out there.
Yeah. And do you notice if there's less birds or?
No, there's countless birds. It's
I
noisy.
kind of think there's less.
Think there's less?
Yeah. 'Cause when I first started here, you couldn't even see the sky, it seemed like, because it was just like a seagull sky,
Yeah, that's
the
true.
eagle sky. And even with the sea lion, I don't see any here in Fishery Bay, but when we were out on the boat the other night, I think we saw three or
There was
four.
some today. There was one that went through a net today. The guys beside us had a sea lion rip through their net. A big bull
Dirty
went in through
dozen?
the mouth and shot up like it was a spring salmon on the other side of your net, and it was gone.
Oh
And they
no.
came out and to check their net and had a big hole in it, so they pulled it and went in to fix it.
Oh, they weren't there when that happened?
Nope, they
Oh.
had set it and gone in to have breakfast.
Aw.
And,
So they're probably mending their net now.
they're
Hey?
mending it right now. It ripped a big hole
Aw.
right into the heavy twine too.
Yeah. Do you mend nets? Looking at?
No, I can, but I'm not very good at it. I made my first net this year for my little tiny frame,
Oh.
and it doesn't compare to what the masters can do. But sometimes you do what you can and learn as you go.
Yeah. So who showed you how to mend?
Just watching Ted,
Yeah.
and it's some similar knots to working on a gill net. And
Yeah.
I learned how to do that from my grandfather, great
Oh.
grandfather.
Yeah. Hmm. So you made your own
Yeah,
for your camp.
yeah. Well, I made just a little one that goes on a 4-foot wide hoop, like a giant banana to try,
Oh
just
yeah.
to experiment, to see
Yeah.
where the olikins were.
Yeah.
So you put it down for 15 minutes in one spot, see how many you got, and try 15 minutes somewhere else just to see
Yeah.
what side of the river they were on, different times of the tide.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Huh.
I'd like to try it when they're really running to see how it does.
Yeah. That would be cool to see. Yeah. It's totally amazing the amount of work and the time and the dedication it takes just to.
Yeah, it takes. We're here for a month.
Yeah.
I come for 2 weeks straight during my spring break, and weekends. And when fishing's hot, I come a couple of nights right after work and go home in the morning to go back to work.
Crazy.
Yeah, so those are the tough days.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, but those are the days I do.
Oh. I was gonna ask about that. They're pretty long days. Like just a couple of nights that I was out with everybody, and I wasn't even working. I was mostly like videoing, but I was like buck tired.
Yeah, and when fishing's good though, you find the energy.
Yeah.
You come in for a quick nap between tides. Today it was slow. In fact, we're going to probably go out in about an hour.
Yeah.
So to work on this camp and other things around camp while we're waiting.
So you're prepping while you're in between all the fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any damage to the net to repair, so you get to do other things between tides.
Yeah. Oh. How many people are you gonna have in your new camp, you think?
Well, this camp is good. This camp isn't going to be a working camp really. It's more of a hobby thing. A little tiny bin and a little pot.
Oh, I see.
I'm still going to be working with RGA.
Yeah.
This will be RGA 2
Oh yeah.
with the guest house.
Cool.
So the cabin will be for the working crew, and then this house will be for our families to stay.
Yeah.
So that we can come and go all hours of the night because the tide sometimes at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Turn the generator on, turn the lights on, wakes everybody else up.
Yeah.
It's good for the crew. And our families can be in the other house.
Yeah.
Keep more of a regular schedule.
Do you notice that the wildlife, when I'm down here, I could hear wolves.
Yep, wolves howling the other night.
Yeah. Has that with the bears over the years, has that increased more or?
I don't think so. I think it's the same. There's a bear around every year.
Yeah.
We had a bear this year. That's the earliest I've seen one. Usually you don't see them until we start cooking the grease.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Been in
say.
the bin for a couple weeks, but this year it was climbing out of the bin,
Yeah.
starving, a starving bear.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why it was up early. It's hungry.
Yeah. Do you see any moose when you're in here? Like, do they run through?
Every once in a while, you see a moose on the other side there,
Yeah.
walking along the beach.
Huh.
Every once in a while, it's moose country on the other side of the river.
Yeah. So you were talking about Other hunting like sea lion and what did you say? Some ducks?
Ducks, yeah, those little black ducks with the colorful beaks. They
Yeah.
look like puffins. Yeah,
Huh.
they're tasty once they've eaten a lot of oolakins too.
Yeah.
They eat so many they can barely fly.
Yeah. Does anybody eat seagull?
Yeah, seagull soup. I remember having seagull soup as a kid at Walter's camp. It tastes like the whole bird tastes like a chicken drumstick. It's
Oh.
good.
Huh.
Boil it up with potatoes,
Yeah.
carrots.
Yeah, the whole time that I've been here I keep hearing about it, but I've yet to see somebody like cook
Yeah,
seagull soup.
yeah. No, I haven't had it since I was a kid.
Huh.
That was one of the things we used to get to do is go get some seagulls for soup.
Is it like grouse hunting?
No, it's a whole lot easier because
Is
there's
it?
so many.
Yeah. No, I mean like the prep of the grouse. Is it the same way that you would?
Similar, yeah. You can peel the skin right off. And then they have nice down too by their tail. So if you know people that are into cultural dancing and need down, you save that part.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get any from a swan. You can get all you need from some seagulls instead. So they have
Wow.
good down right on their belly just by their tail.
Yeah.
It's good to use.
Yeah.
So you
Awesome.
save that part and then you can peel the rest right off.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
I think I'm 53.
Crazy. And you've been here since, what did you say?
Since I was 9. I missed a few years when I was away at university,
Yeah.
but since then I've every year.
Been in camp.
Yeah,
Crazy.
can't you get itchy to be here,
Yeah.
and it's in February.
It's like
Only,
camping,
camping, yeah, it's
but better.
yeah. You get to hang out with your friends again,
Yeah.
catch up on the year's stories,
Yeah.
reminisce of the way it was, plan on what you're going to do next, the next modification to equipment or nets or camp. There's always something to do.
Yeah. When you started coming down here, did Mansell start coming down too at the same time or later?
Later, it came later.
Mhm.
I mean, he started to come to me at Greece after he was an adult.
Yeah.
And I think he started at Walter's camp too.
Huh.
And then when the distance government lifted the moratorium on development, that's when we started our own camp.
Yeah. Moved over.
Mansell joined us.
RGA.
RGA, Robinson, Griffin, Ajax brothers.
Yeah.
And our friends.
Yeah.
Because over the years we've had other friends come and fish with us as well.
Yeah. I keep forgetting it's brothers after RGA. I've been telling everybody RGA because lots of people are asking what it means, but I keep forgetting the brother part.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because it's the Robinson brothers, the Griffin brothers, and
He's,
Fred.
yeah. Him and Larry.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh. And at that time, I know you fish for salmon and you run your own boat. You're out there by yourself. When you were here in Fishery Bay, did you run the boat at all?
Oh yeah, I run a boat for Fishery Bay. My boat's at home right now because it's buried behind snow.
Yeah.
And we have enough boats, so I don't need to bring one.
Like, so like the punts? Did
Yep.
you run the punts?
Yep.
Wow.
Sometimes I motor on the punt. But I usually tow a punt with my boat. And sometimes I use my boat just to run oolakins from the punt back to the beach.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I really appreciate you just allowing me to walk in here and just, can I interview you?
You're very welcome.
I'll share it with your family and it'll be a nice, good keepsake, I think, for you. And I can't wait to see your development here on what you got going.
In progress.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then what do you call this?
Oh, that's ganette.
Yeah.
It's in progress ganette to hang oolakins to dry.
Yeah.
So right now it's just a looking stand.
Yeah.
Stand out there and enjoy the view.
It's gonna be a good view.
Rope on it, and you can hang oolakins to dry.
Yeah. How long does it take for them to? Depends on the weather, I guess.
Yeah, usually a couple weeks, as long as the birds don't eat them.
Yeah.
The blue jays and the ravens and crows or the seagulls don't touch them. It's the blue jays, ravens, and crows.
Yeah. Huh. Well, thank